Hello and welcome to our Unconventional Success Story webinar featuring Energen. I am delighted to be in conversation today with Connie Ellis, who will take us on the journey of how Energen took control and implemented a system that allowed them not only to connect the field to the back office, but also to drive operational efficiencies throughout the organization, from the field to engineering to management. This allowed Energen to make better, faster decisions with accurate data that ultimately optimize production and minimize downtime. How are you today, Connie?
I'm well, and how are you?
I am well. So, Connie, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story. Can you introduce yourself to us?
Yes, my name is Connie Ellis, and I'm Manager of Production Regulatory Administration for Energen Resources in Midland, Texas.
And I believe in your spare time you like to do a lot of things on the water.
I do. I'm really a water freak. I like to boat and jet ski and fish.
Fantastic. And today I am your host, Aisha Kuman. I'm the Senior Channel and Regional Marketing Manager at P2 Energy Solutions. So thank you, Connie, for sharing your story with us. Can you tell us a little bit about Energen?
Yes, Energen is largely based in the Permian area. Our corporate office, however, is in Birmingham, Alabama. We are not the largest oil company around, but we certainly have been active in the Permian for the last several years.
Fantastic. Now, I know that in the past, you had a system that wasn't working for you. Can you take us through and tell us what precipitated this movement to look to a new solution that would help to bring in all the data and really drive operational efficiencies throughout Energen and maximize production?
Yes, we did have a system that was not working well for us, and we really did need a new solution to our problems that we were having. We needed to be able to capture all of our field data and do it in a timely way so that we could get information to everyone in the organization who needed it. We were using a couple of different systems, and we needed to be able to bring that all together to synchronize information. We really had a lot of Band-Aids on the product that we were using. We were having to do a lot of things by hand and even had to resort to some Excel spreadsheets. And it was getting really hard to be confident in the information that we were getting out to our stakeholders so that they could be able to use that data to make decisions that really impacted our future. So we were really glad when we were able to find the P2 solution.
Talk to me a little bit about, how the regulatory reporting system was working for you.
Yes, the regulatory system for reporting that we had was actually broken, so we were having to file completely by hand with no electronic support on the website for the Railroad Commission, and with 5,000 plus wells, that was a pretty big undertaking.
In addition to the things that were not optimized or were not working, it sounds like there were new production environment challenges that you were facing. There's a lot here. Can you walk us through some of these new requirements that you were facing?
Yes. With the onset of the horizontal drilling that we had started doing, we had just a lot more oil, and we're having to try to track a lot more oil through many, many tanks and through frac tanks. And even we're putting in super lags so that we could be able to sell the oil. And that put us in a situation of having tanks at multiple levels. And to be able to allocate through that hierarchy of multiple level batteries was a real challenge. Also, we had commingle problems to address with the state to be able to file our production that would be associated with more than one commingle permit, and that was something that was new throughout the industry, actually, and new to the Railroad Commission as well. Then we had saltwater disposal issues that, to be able to resolve out in the field, they came up with some pretty creative ways to do that, but that presented us with some more issues to try to resolve, and how did we track all that water that they put into what they called a loop, so that we had to track from multiple SWD wells in a loop situation back to the wells that it had come from. We had thousands of run tickets every month that needed to be tracked and balanced back to the statements. And then filing to the state for those multiple commingled wells. We needed a system that would be able to manage giving us the right information to file at the state. So we had a lot of things to try to tackle.
Yeah, so you've got new challenges, you've got an old system that definitely wasn't working for you. And I know that when we talked, you mentioned that as all the stakeholders came together, you had a vision of where Energen wanted to go with this new system. Can you share that vision that you had?
Yes, we of course needed to be able to bring data in from the field and to be able to process that data and allocate it appropriately. And then we needed to be able to analyze, of course, the production and find where we might have issues or problems, and certainly to be able to report it as well and feel comfortable that our reporting was accurate. And management looked to us to be able to provide that data. So we really wanted to be able to follow through from the field all the way to management.
Now, you undertook at Energen an extensive selection process, and there were several things in it that were really, really critical for you as you evaluated your vendors. What were those critical pieces that you were looking for in a vendor?
We were looking for someone who would be there to support us, that would keep their product up to date and answer any questions that we might have about the software and how it worked. We needed to be able to get from field all the way to revenue to be able to manage our money in the door and payments out as well to partners. So we really wanted to have everyone involved, all the stakeholders, to be pleased with the product and what we were going to finally end up with and work with. So we did do an evaluation. Initially, we spent a week talking to several vendors and having them give us a presentation of their product after our IT folks had narrowed it down to a couple that would fit from their side of the table. And then we met with those vendors. They gave us a presentation of their products, and the team that we put together that I was on as part of that team, we tried to bring the hard questions to see if their product would actually do the things we needed to have done.
And I know you told me that you did bring all the hard allocation questions for our team. These were some of the specific things you were looking for. Can you tell our listeners exactly what you put us through the test for?
Yeah, we were very interested in that allocation from tanks that were on multiple levels. The product that we'd had in the past could not handle that at all. We also had situations with frac tanks for the new wells that we were drilling that were only associated with one new well that was in a flowback situation, and we needed to be able to manage the oil in those frac tanks as well before it went to the battery. And then when it did go to the battery and we still had oil in frac tanks, we needed to manage that situation. We also were putting in VRUs to capture our vapor recovery gas. We started a gas lift project so that we were injecting gas for lift, and we had to be able to allocate all of that and manage that back as well. And due to the market, we were in areas that didn't have existing pipelines for gas sales, and we had to flare a lot of gas, so we needed to manage that and be able to track and report that appropriately. And then the saltwater thing was, even though it's not a money-making product, it's something that we had to manage, and that was kind of a nightmare. So we asked all the questions about how this product would manage those things accurately for us.
So why did you choose P2, Connie?
Well, both the products that we finally were looking at, P2 and the other product, were both good products. And a couple of the ones we looked at were, had maybe a bell or a whistle in an area that was intriguing and nice. But overall, we needed the one that would function the best across all of our needs. And P2 seemed to fit that need.
So, how would you say the implementation of P2 has affected your life today and all the responsibilities that you have, from regulatory reporting to allocations?
Right. Well, we definitely feel like we have come up in the world. We have a good automated system now. Our data from the field is coming in accurately. Our lease operators who are doing that input from the tanks and from the meters are pleased with the tool that they have now to be able to do that with. It's less cumbersome and seems to be more efficient. So we're pleased about that. And then coming into the system through Carte, everyone in the company is able to see information much faster, and we're able to address any problems or corrections that need to be made faster. And then reporting it just flows all the way through. All of the stakeholders seem to be really pleased with the product.
That's great to hear. So your vision for Energen realized now that you've got the field connected to the back office. Tell us a little bit about how all of that now flows. All the data coming from the field flowing through the systems to everyone that needs it.
Right, and it does flow through well. Our revenue accounting group is in our corporate office, and the information that we're able to get in quickly and analyze quickly for any corrections provides them sooner with a finished product that they're able to then take into their system and take care of the revenue. And then the regulatory reporting. The regulatory reporting, that tool works really well, provides us with an EDI file that we can now file our state reports electronically, and that's been a really great benefit.
So, Connie, what would you say about now that you have this system in place? It's allowing everyone throughout the chain, all the stakeholders, to answer the critical questions that they need and make better informed decisions. As we wrap up, parting words from you about all the value that it's brought across the stakeholders in terms of operational efficiencies, making better informed decisions, and maximizing production.
Right. Well, that's true. We, of course, are able to give information quicker to the operations area to let the people who need to know if a well is down and has been down a few days. Is it one that they need to address and look at doing repairs to? Is it a well that is a leasehold well? So they really need to step it up quickly and do something so that we don't lose that lease. Regulatory reporting, even not just production reporting, but our H10s for injection wells, our W10s for testing, that's all running so much smoother and able to get filed into the states electronically, which is great. Engineering is getting a better picture of what's going on out in the field, and I know they're pleased with that, to be able to capture data about flared and lease use and sales gas, in addition to the oil information. So overall, I think everyone who's involved we've really come a long way and made kind of a giant leap from where we were to where we are now. People are starting to feel comfortable with the volumes that we present, and that's a good feeling.
Thank you so much for your time today, Connie, and sharing your story. And thank you to all of those listening. If you have any questions, please fill out our contact form and we'll get back to you with an answer. This is Aisha Ghuman from P2, signing off.